This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, May 8th. Please stand for an invocation led by Reverend Charlotte Green, itinerant elder, Bethel AME Church, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Gracious and loving Father, we do bless and praise your holy and precious name. We thank you for this gift of another day's journey. We ask even now, God, that you will crown these, your chosen leaders, with wisdom needed and necessary for the dignity, the worth, and the presence of every person, God, in this city. We pray now, God, that you will continue to allow your light to shine as we come together, oh God, collectively to handle the affairs of this city. We need your presence, we need your grace, and we need your wisdom. So bless us now is our prayer. In Jesus' name we do pray and ask it all. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Vice President Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Small.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The rules of the council are quite simple. We ask that you would turn off all of your electronic devices before or upon entering the meeting. Any person desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, ordinance, appeal, or public hearing agenda item before the meeting. When addressing the council, we ask that you state clearly your name and your address. If you'd like to speak to the council on a non-agenda item, we ask that you would contact the city clerk's office no later than 2 p.m. on the Thursday prior to the council meeting in which you'd like to speak. The subject that he or she wants to speak must be pertinent to City of Mobile business. Any person who hadn't given that proper notice won't be allowed to address the council. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. At the conclusion of 4 minutes, you'll hear the ringing of a bell. The next sound of the bell that you hear is your signal and sign to go to your seat expeditiously. When addressing the council, there is to be no personal address to any individual council member. We ask that all statements be made to me, the chair, who will recognize any council member who wishes to respond. To maintain decorum, we ask that there be no undue applause and or public outcry during the course of this meeting. Thank you for your interest in your local government. Madam City Clerk.
Approval of minutes of May 1st.
So moved.
Second. Proper motion is second. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved.
Communications from the mayor.
Well, good morning. Good to see everybody here this morning. Appreciate you being here. Yesterday we had the opportunity to gather on the bank of 3 Mile Creek and announce a new partnership. The partnership is called 3MC. The purpose of that partnership is to partner with the city and the other stakeholders to help us make sure that we move the 3 Mile Creek Greenway forward. As you know, there's $22 million worth of restore money that will be spent along the creek and the lake at Langen Park. In addition to that, real recently, we were awarded $555,000 by ALDOT to extend the existing sidewalk along the creek, going westward till it comes to the USA Medical Center. Anyway, a lot of activity on the creek. I did notice yesterday when I was there that there seemed to be less litter than they had in the past. Remind you that we were very fortunate through grants awarded to NEP that we have 10 litter getters, they're called. A litter getter is a litter trap, a small litter trap. 5 of them have already been placed on the lower end of the creek, and 5 will be placed toward the headwaters of the creek in the coming weeks. All of this is in an effort to make sure that the trash and debris does not continue to pollute 3 Mile Creek. Then yesterday afternoon there was a walkabout down in that area where citizens walked along with Andrew Saunders as he explained the vision of how it will connect neighborhoods, hopefully enhance commerce. And anyway, just there'll be ongoing conversations about the great things that should come out of the restoration of that 3 Mile Creek Greenway. Tomorrow we have some exciting economic development news. We'll be announcing, I think around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for another economic development announcement. These continue to happen as great things and momentum continues to build for the city. We will have the State of the City meeting sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce at the Convention Center Thursday. I think it's at noon. The tickets for that can be arranged through the Chamber of Commerce. And I hope to see you all at Art Walk on Friday night. It'll be the reopening of the Mobilia Arts Center, which is kind of the area of Wenzel's. So, hope to see you there. And thank you for being here today.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second. Probably motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. We have a resolution from Councilwoman Rich and also Councilman Richardson.
And
A
Councilwoman Gregory.
presentation and Councilwoman Gregory.
We're busy, aren't we?
We have 3 presentations.
Great. I'm glad we're so busy with our proclamations. It's all good. If I could have the individuals come down for the senior Older Americans Month. And come on down. Don't be shy. We know you work with the senior population. You can't be a shy person. Whereas the Mobile City Council is joining the nation during May 2018 to recognize and honor older citizens for their contribution to our city, state, and nation. And whereas in May of each year, the Administration on Aging lends the observance with the theme this year, Engage at Every Age, which emphasizes that you are never too old or too young to take part in activities that can enrich your physical, mental, emotional well-being. And whereas senior centers offer valuable services such as providing our seniors the benefits of good fellowship, encouragement, support, and access to community services as needed. And whereas centers within the City of Mobile include the Connie Hudson Mobile Regional Senior Center, Dearborn Street YMCA, Dumas Wesley, Providence, Tillman's Corner, Hillsdale Sales Center, Thomas Sullivan Sales Center, Trinity Gardens Sales Center, Parkway Sales Center, and Via Health, Fitness, and Enrichment Center. And whereas seniors are the fastest growing segment of our population, and Older Americans Month provides us with an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the tremendous contribution they make to the life and vibrancy of our city. Now therefore I, Bess Rich, Council Member of District 6, along with the Mayor and all the members of the Mobile City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2018 as Older Americans Month in Mobile, and urge all our citizens to join with us in taking time to recognize older adults and the people who serve them as vital parts of our community. But I would like for Ashley Nicole Flowers, who is the supervisor of the Senior Center at the Connie Hudson Regional Senior Center, to maybe give a few words and also introduce who she has with her today. We did recognize all the senior centers, which are a vital part of our community, And I know that even in her absence, she's missed at the center, at the senior center, because her ability to organize and to program that center is fabulous. And I can't thank her enough for her professionalism and for the city having her in that position, because believe me, I get all the feedback from that center everywhere I go, and it's only positive, and I attribute it to her and her ability to do such a fine job. And I'm sure the other people that she'll introduce are equally as stellar. So we're going to take a picture real fast so I can get out of your way. Okay, this will be the official one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Get the real camera. Great. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Give you the mic.
I'm not used to having my back toward people. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, Mayor Stimpson. It's a pleasure serving as the supervisor for all the sales centers in the city and the Big Connie Hudson Senior Center, as they call it. And this year, we've been trying to love on other seniors in our communities. So we've introduced Project Loasis, which is loving on every older adult within the city of Mobile. I'm taking those seniors at Connie Hudson Senior Center and putting them in the community and letting them be volunteer art instructors. And this month, we're really engaging at every age and every senior center, whether it's with the city or with the SEL program. And we're programming good support groups. We're giving workshops, seminars, and just providing the staff to really educate these seniors this month. We have somebody from SARPC representing, and SARPC is over our SEL centers. They're our contract provider, Susan Broadhead. We have our new SEL manager at Thomas Sullivan, Miss Nita Arnold, and Carl Lewis, which is our program manager at Connie Hudson Senior Center, with us. So thank you all. May will be fun, interesting month. Please locate a senior center and participate in activities. Thank you all.
Thank you. Right. It's fun being a senior citizen.
They teach me how to age with grace.
I just want to say one thing. On behalf of South Alabama Regional Planning Commission, the Area Agency on Aging, and our Executive Director, Ricky Rhodes, and Julie McGee, our Director, we thank y'all as a city for recognizing our senior adults in the city of Mobile, and we hope that this will only begin other cities in our area, Mobile County, Baldwin, and Escambia, to do the same. And we do appreciate what y'all are doing and the support y'all are giving our sales centers, both the ones y'all are contracted with us for, the 4, and our others that are within your city limits. So thank you again, Ms. Rich, the council, and the mayor for doing this for us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning to all.
Good morning.
All righty. Today in the city of Mobile is City Clerk's Week. And in that regard, I'm going to ask that the City Clerk, Lisa Lambert, and the Assistant City Clerk, Mary Ann Murchis, come to the podium. No frowning up, no whining. I know you're on the cover. I'm putting the cover off y'all today. I have a proclamation that I would like to read to you all. It says, whereas the City of Mobile, the Mobile City Council is celebrating City Clerk's Week to recognize the accomplishments of the Mobile City Clerk's Office on May 6th through the 12th, 2018. And whereas this office is the oldest among public servants who provides the professional link between the citizens and local governing body and agencies of government and other levels, and whereas the city clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas they continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of their office through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meeting of their state provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Now, therefore, we members of the Mobile City Council, along with the mayor, do hereby proclaim May 6th through the 12th, 2018 as City Clerks Week in Mobile. We urge all our citizens to join with us in extending appreciation to City Clerk Lisa Lambert and Assistant City Clerk Mary Ann Merchants for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent. I'd like to present this to both of you.
To my exemplary council, I thank you so very much. This is much appreciated and quite a surprise. And we try our best to do all that we can to make you all look good and also represent our city and extend the same courtesies and respect to the mayor's office. So thank you so very much.
All right, let's go.
Well, I think Lisa and Mary Ann have a tough job making us look good and taking care of us all the time. When you have 7 folks like us, it's tough, and we thank you, Lisa, for all you do. And now it's my pleasure to reintroduce the council members to a young man who came today to give the council a gift.
All right.
Very unexpected, but certainly appreciated. His name is Dylan Driscoll. Here he is. He is a Boy Scout, and he is out of Christ United Methodist Church. That's where he does his scouting. And I think you can get to this. He has a gift for us. So I'm going to ask Dylan if he will explain why he has this gift and what it's all about. So let's see if we can get this microphone for you, Dylan.
I have come to bring a gift to the council, and I'm in Pack 17, and I'm a Boy Scout.
Why are you giving us a gift? Is that for your merit badge?
It's for my merit badge, and because y'all have done so much for the community.
All right.
Oh, how nice.
And I wanted to show everybody that this is the painting that Dylan brought. And I asked him if
Yeah, do a nice picture with him and you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the podium, yeah. Very nice.
I didn't know if the crowd had any sort of special significance. If that meant that, that was something about our personalities. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dylan. Not often that we get that, so.
Oh, wait.
I've got to have a picture.
Dylan's gonna give it and take it back. Don't take it back, Dylan.
And we're gonna put it up in our office.
I'm going to go ahead and call Mr. David Clark.
Good morning.
Morning.
Great to be here. I have some treats to make y'all sweeter than you already are. If I could approach the bench, Mr. Vice President, to hand them out.
You're bearing gifts, come on.
Come on. All right, more gifts.
Hey, David, I just whispered to Mrs. Rich that I'm hungry, so I'm hoping that, I was hoping
Started on that side.
I was hoping that was a treat.
You're bearing gifts.
Started on Gina's side.
This meeting is really starting to.
Goodness. Yes. Feel bad that we're missing all that excitement. Hope they save you some.
As you know, we're born to celebrate. Today is a special day for cities throughout America as we celebrate Tourism and Travel Day. throughout America. And, you know, tourism is a big deal. On behalf of Visit Mobile, we support the tourism of our great city. And it's a big deal in terms of economic development. 16,000 travel and tourism-related jobs in our city that produce about 3 million visitors, and that spend over $1 billion a year with a B. So today's a special day. We invite everybody, our residents, our city council, and our tourists to come out to our Welcome Center on Rural Street from 10 to 3. We have lots of games, giveaways, tours. We have some really great tours with Mardi Gras Walking Tour, the Dora Franklin Finley African American Heritage Trail, along with Gulf Coast Tours. So come out and network with the colleagues, and actually Dolphins is going to be out there with some taste of some great gumbo that they produce, and network and learn a lot more about what we have, the great things we have to do in Mobile, Alabama. We appreciate your leadership. Enjoy your treats, and thank you for all that you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
David.
Appeals, we have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on May 26th on Donald Street in Figures Park, May 19th on Imogene Street, May 27th, Victoria Place South, and June 1st and 2nd in Langham Park.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Public hearings. Today is a public hearing to consider assenting to the vacation of an unopened right-of-way at Wimbledon Drive at Burns Boulevard.
Is there anyone who would like to offer any commentary in this particular public hearing? You come and state your name and address.
My name is Fraser Christie. I live at 3621 Kings Hill Road in Birmingham. I applied for this vacation right-of-way on behalf of Fraser Properties, which is a partnership of my brother and myself. We've grown up in Mobile. I have not lived here lately, but we have property on Hillcrest and this parcel on Burns Boulevard. I was at the pre-council meeting, and the discussion was held about not vacating the right-of-way. I can understand that, but we need to look at the other side of what's there. It is a parcel of land that is a public right-of-way. It belongs to the public. You can't do anything with it other than build a road in it. You can't sell it. You can't put a house on it. The only way that you could put a house on it or to sell it would be to vacate the right-of-way. Code of Alabama 1149-6 has a specific outline for the vacation of right-of-way, which the City of Mobile follows that same policy, if I read the documents that were submitted to me by Ms. Merchant correctly. So in order, as it stands right now, there are two things you can do with the right-of-way. Keep it, have it be a burden to the city, have to maintain it, just like any other piece of property you've got, or you can vacate it. You cannot sell it without vacating. So that's all I really have to say. I would appreciate you reconsidering the nods that I saw in the pre-council meeting. I've been doing this. I'm a civil engineer, retired civil engineer and land surveyor. I've been involved in many a vacation of right-of-way over the last 45 years. There was a comment made about the fact that the city attorney had looked at it and another attorney, but the law in Alabama is very clear. And you can't do anything with it. You can't put a building on it. You can't sell it. You can build a road on it. It is not in the transportation plan, so therefore its proper use would be to go ahead and vacate it and let the Sisters of Mercy and us have our halves of the right-of-way to then form a tax, start providing tax payments to the city for a piece of dirt that's just sitting there. I'll be glad to answer any questions if I can. And I would, like I said, I would appreciate your favorable consideration of the fact that we're trying to comply with the Code of Alabama.
Any questions? No. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.
Anyone else that'd like to offer any commentary for this particular public hearing? And if not, the public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to consider a vacation of right-of-way fee as a condition of the vacation of unopened right-of-way at Wimbledon Drive at Burns Boulevard.
Is there anyone that would like to speak or offer any commentary on this particular public hearing? Mr. Olszewski, if you could come now and give us the information that you've discussed with Councilman Davis.
Mr. President, if I could, what I'd like to ask Mr. Olszewski to inform us as to is the value that the city would be entitled to if it vacates the right-of-way in favor of Mr. Christie.
Yes, sir. The state and the city both have regulations concerning the fee amount available if you vacate the right-of-way. And in calculating that, we are forced to use the Revenue Commissioner's numbers for the adjoining property holders in this. And so I've taken those numbers, I have done the calculations the way the state and the city require, and it comes up at $5,974.64 is the maximum fee we can charge. Of course, you can charge any amount less than that if you want to, but that's the maximum. Any questions?
And that fee, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
And that fee is, I understand it, is simply a fee that we charge an applicant to gain ownership of the vacated right-of-way?
The fee is for the vacation. The word ownership is not referenced with that, I don't believe. It's just the fee for doing the vacation.
Does by law then it automatically go to the adjoining properties in
abutting property owners? Yes.
Abutting.
There's two abutting property owners to the property in question here today. Mr. Frazier, as he said, on his side of the street, and there's on the other side of the street is the Sisters of Mercy and some more to that name that I don't have written down, I don't believe.
That's all right.
It's a convent.
Essentially what we're being asked to do is to not only vacate by this body, but also waive the fee for vacation, and all of that resulting in ownership of that now right-of-way to the abutting property owners in equal amounts.
It would become their property if you do the vacation.
Okay.
And if you do the fee, then that's what the city gets out of it. So it's kind of a two-part thing. One's the vacation, one's the fee.
I have a question.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you. When we were debating the vacation of property at University, I realized that that was commercial and airport. How did we arrive at the 41, I think it was 41K or 21K? I can't remember exactly.
I don't remember exactly myself.
Yeah.
That's quite a few vacations ago.
Right.
But yeah, the same process.
Right, and if it was quite a bit of property that we were vacating.
Yes.
And I remember objecting, thinking it was worth a lot more than what we could possibly get, but it was approved by this council.
Yes, but that was commercial property, and it was a much larger piece of property than what we're talking about today.
Right. But it still seemed like a really low amount for what the value of the property. So
well, it's just the amount that you get when you've got a situation like this is lower than what a lot of people would think, because we can't use true fair market value. We have to use the Revenue Commissioner's numbers.
Right.
And most people know that the Revenue Commissioner's numbers are usually less than true fair market value.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
and we vacate all over the city, and we said that under 5,000 we wouldn't charge at all when it was residential.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
And we didn't talk about what the future use of the land would be, but we came up with that through ordinance, was it, or
Yeah.
resolution?
No.
We agree.
Okay, so we don't really get into what the reuse of the property will be, if it's a buildable lot or a non-buildable lot. We don't factor that in. We just have to make the decision, is the road of value, with that road that's in place, could be in place, is of value. Because when you vacate, you're basically saying it has no value to the citizens of Mobile. Am I correct about that from a legal standpoint? That's what we're approving?
Thank you. So, street vacations. Under state law, there are two ways to vacate a street. The one before you is upon application of abutting property owners. In either case, no person has a right to a vacation. It's not just you file the paperwork and it happens. So the council's role in all this is to determine whether it's appropriate to vacate and consider any factors you deem necessary. So once you decide it's appropriate to vacate, the property is vacated, and the statute, as Mr. Olszewski's pointed out, specifies how much you can charge, when you can charge, and I believe you also have the discretion not to charge anything.
Sure.
If I'm correct about that. So the issue is not, the other way to vacate property is the city can vacate it on its own motion for a public purpose. And so, but that's not what before you. Here we have, I believe that's true for both of these that are before you. These are applications by abutting property owners asking for permission to vacate, and that is your discretion whether to allow it or not.
Any other questions for Mr. Olszewski? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak to this particular public hearing? And if not, this public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Joe Keffer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Joe Keffer. I live at 3892 Johnstown Drive in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm actively involved in a number of coalitions or chapters here in the state. As you can see, the Poor People's Campaign. I'm also actively involved in the NAACP. I'm involved in a group that's called Alabama Coalition for Social and Economic Justice. I'm here today to speak in behalf of the workers. I'd like to sort of preface this, but I'll definitely get into the workers in the last couple of minutes of my talk. There was a significant event that happened in Montgomery about a week ago, and it was put on by a museum opening by the Equal Justice Initiative. It was a monument and a museum. That monument, as you walk into it, and it contains 4,000 names on what looks like tombs. Those names are from mostly southern states, 98% of them. And it talks about people that died after the end of slavery. When you first walk in, there's a saying there, and that saying, I'd like to read it. It says, "The myth of racial difference that was created to sustain American slavery persists today. Slavery did not end in 1865, it evolved." That's what I'm here to talk about today, is that evolution and how it impacts workers. Some people might say that this is decisive, or divisive, excuse me, not decisive, but divisive, in that it pits people that are white against people of color. I don't think that it does that. What the museum says in terms of those statues, and it's really hard-hitting in those monuments, and one might take a look at those and say, hey, this is all about race. This is a race sort of taking the white culture and saying that you're no good. What I'm here to say today is that we don't want to be pitted against each other as workers, white and black. We want to be here today to say that This is something in this country that's happened in the last number of years, I'd say starting in 1980 and probably way before that, where the wealth has gone to the upper class. It's gone to the big corporations. It hasn't gone to working people. So when this saying comes up and it says that slavery has not ended, it's evolved, what happened after 1865 and the Emancipation Proclamation was that 4,000 people got lynched between 1865 and 1940. 4,000, over 600 of those were in the state of Alabama. Men that were freed ended up in jail. More than 50% of the black population, I think that number is correct, ended up in prison. And they did the same type of slave type of labor in prison that they did under slavery. So it's evolved, it's a different way. In 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee, the Reverend Martin Luther King was there for a speech. He was there in behalf of the sanitation workers. We have sanitation workers here that are an integral part of our city services. And he was there to say that this wasn't just a civil rights issue, that this was an issue that pertained to economics. This was an issue that pertained to people being able to provide for their families. Dr. King was killed in Memphis while he was there on behalf of those striking workers. Today, what we find out is that in our city, and I'd like to, tie it into basically what's happening in the city. And I'm not the best person to say this. I think it is the workers, and I think that they have come forward last week, and they'll be coming forward in the future to say what it's like for them. But when you have a basically white police force that gets $5,000 bonuses and they get much less, and they're predominantly people of color, you have to wonder what's going on. When you have a mayor who I understand they request to meet with and have yet to be met with over important issues that pertain to them, you've got problems. When you've got temporary workers working side by side with regular workers that are not getting the same benefits, that are getting much less pay, we've got problems in this city. So I think that there's a list that goes on, but which will be presented. But I think that it says that, yes, it's not maybe like the slavery that existed before 1865, but there's an inequitable nature that's going on in our society, including here in Mobile, that impacts workers, and they're the last ones who really receive things in spite of others. So I'd conclude with the fact that—
That's your time, Mr. Kelly. That's your time.
Its time is up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I appreciate the time. I'll come back again. I have more to say, but thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Donald Smith. I'm sorry, David Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is David Smith. I live at 6861 Greenway Drive South, Mobile, Alabama. I too am here to support the workers, the city workers, and their effort to become made whole for the fantastic work that they do. I had a job not too long ago where I had an opportunity to watch them work after parades. Fantastic. Streets were littered. I had a company that would come in and say, how do they get that all done in such a short period of time? It's because they're dedicated. It's because they're proud of what they do. So I'm here to support their efforts to be made whole. I'm hoping that someone will take the time to actually talk with Mr. Wesley Young, who's been around for a long time, a warrior, loves his people, wants to do right by them. It's disappointing that all of these allegations are put out, and Wesley says nobody's talked to him. Is there anybody interested in really what's going on with that? I hope so. I hope so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Reverend Cleveland McFarland.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cleveland McFarland Jr. I am here also to support the workers, the city workers. There is a question that I would like to ask.
We need your address, I'm sorry.
My address,
Yes,
1525 West Carlisle Drive. Sister Gregory is my city person. I have a question. The question is it true of the allegations and rumors that I've heard concerning the workers of our city? I've heard that people are not being placed in jobs after they retire. They got extra people coming in who are actually get less than the workers. There are people who are working with them who are not, when they retire, they are not really replaced. They are replaced with workers that don't get what the other workers get. And then they're working a lot of overtime, basically because they don't have the workforce to do the job properly, which means it blows the budget. The budget is so high because there's a lot of workers who are working overtime. Makes no sense to me. Then, if that's the case, then I hear that you're going to come back later on to this council and to this city and say, listen, we need to privatize the workers because it will be less for us. You blow the budget, then you come back after you have sabotaged it and then say that we will be better off privatizing. Well, I don't think that's a good idea as well. The other part about it is that once you try to privatize it, of course the price is going to be low, but then after you go a while, you get rid of all of the equipment that the city has, everything is kind of clean, then the people who you hire to privatize all of these workers, their prices start going up because they know that you cannot restaff. I really urge you to look at that again. Our workers deserve the respect from this council, from our mayor, from this city, because they are people, first of all. They are taxpayers, second of all. And then they have families that live in our city, that put back into our city. So I would ask and I would urge us that we would respect them as do we respect all of the other workers and the first responders, because they are important. When people start complaining about their trash is not being picked up, and it's not being picked up on time simply because it appears that it's been sabotaged, I would pray that you would look at that very seriously. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Michael Beach.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, the Mayor, and everyone who's in attendance. My name is Michael Beach. I reside at 2874 Pages Lane, Mobile, Alabama. That's in Councilman Richardson's district. Been employed in the sanitation department for the city of Mobile for 25 years. It was asked last week to help find ways to help fundraisers for the employees. Well, I found a way. Over at Virginia and Gale Street, there's over $450,000 worth of ghost jobs. Y'all have one up here. Taxpayers are funding a councilman president, which we don't have.
No, it's not being funded.
I'm here today to let you know that there is ways out here. That's just at Virginia and Gale, the ghost jobs I speak about. It's department-wise. Also, we have 5 other cities in the state that we are always compared with. far as pay. I have a packet for each one of y'all for the cities of Montgomery, Alabama, which their drivers start off at $14 an hour, which is 12% lower than the national average in the nation. Also, we have one for Birmingham, Alabama. They start off at $17 an hour. That is 9% lower than the national average. Than what's going on. We go all the way to Huntsville, Alabama. This is another one of the 5 big cities that we talk about. They start off at $17 an hour, which is 10% lower than the national average for sanitation work drivers. We are Class A driver's license, CDL. We are professional drivers in the city of Mobile. We take pride in what we do. One more salary is where we went and modeled our downtown off of, which is Baltimore, Maryland. This is where I think that we ought to be. Their drivers start off at $22 an hour. That is 5% higher than the national average. I come today to ask that we, as public service workers, receive the same thing that our predecessors, public safety, received. I don't knock them, they do a good job. I think if we're gonna be one Mobile, let's be one Mobile. We've already been a pearl in the stream years ago. Now we ask that we be a notch in the one Mobile. We respectfully ask that we get a 2% raise for every 10 years that we've been here and a $5,000 bonus as our predecessors received. It was stated last year that we would be took care of next time. Well, it's next time. In closing, I do want to thank the City Council for going in and finding us something for Christmas. It was a blessing at that time, and we really do appreciate it. We're not angry, we're not hostile, we just asking for the consideration. We know that y'all all said that if the mayor put something in front of y'all, that y'all would support it. Y'all also have a right to, if he vetoes it, to come back with a super majority and pass it. So the raises are in y'all's hand regardless. Thank you for your time, and y'all have a blessed day.
Hold on, I have a question.
Any questions?
Mr. Richardson?
Yes, sir. Now, Michael.
Yes, sir.
You told us what the drivers were being paid in Birmingham, Montgomery, Huntsville, and Baltimore, and you went from $14 to $22.
I have it right here. I have a packet.
But no, hold on. But you didn't tell us how much the drivers are paid in Mobile.
Well, sir, back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, they did a Congress study here in Mobile, Alabama, through the Personnel Board. At that time, we was 8% behind.
But how much?
By dollar-wise?
Yeah, you told us $14 an hour, $17 per hour, and $22 per hour. We heard you, but you didn't tell us how much per hour the drivers are making in Mobile.
Well, sir, I can't speak for all of them, but I've been in sanitation for 26 years. I'm making $18 an hour, take away the 15% that I earn myself through the ED points. That averages out to about $16 an hour for Class A CDL license.
Okay.
That's a lot lower than that's what I would make an hour. It don't say specifically how much lower it is national, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 8%.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Beach? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Vice President Manzi.
Mr. Small?
Yeah, we heard from several citizens about the trash and public works. And, you know, the council, we hear you. Even last week I wasn't here, but I watched the meetings and everything. And pretty much I appreciate everything that you all do. because when trash is not picked up, you know, our phones ring, and you are the ones that go out there and sacrifice picking up the trash and the garbage. Privatizing, I heard rumors, I heard gossip, but nothing has not been placed in front of me from the administration that's talking about privatizing. Cannot speak of that because, again, no type of contract came before me talking about privatizing. We do listen to each and every one of you, from Public Works, from the police department, from the fire department, and etc. Many city employees come to the council about issues that they are having. But the thing about it is that it's so much that we can do because of the state law. We cannot administrate anything. The only thing we can do is legislate. And once we legislate, you know, it's the law. And the state law clearly defines what the council can do and what the mayor and his administration can do. I do appreciate you all for coming down and addressing these issues, but the person that really can answer it is the mayor. And I'd like to call upon the mayor and ask him, could he address these issues that was brought before the council on today?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
And so if the council hasn't, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak. If the council has any specific issues or questions that I can answer that are not in the personnel realm, I'd be glad to answer them. But to the extent we have talked about personnel issues, we of course said last week we'll address any specific allegations and investigate them accordingly, whether it be sabotage or individual personnel issues. Secondarily, we have investigated a number of issues in the past, and we'll try to keep the council informed of what happens in the future. But I also want to make sure that, as Councilman Small specifically stated, these are personnel and administrative issues, and this is not the best setting to address specific personnel issues in. And so, to the extent there are any specific allegations that anybody wants to put forth, my email is rwoods@cityofmobile.org. My telephone number is 208-7416. I'd be glad to talk to them about them, be glad to listen to what they have to say. But to the extent these are personnel issues dealt with by the administration, we'll deal with them on an individual basis. And to the extent we're talking about budget conversations, that will be put before the council and at the proper timing.
Any further comments from members of the council?
Yes, Vice President.
Mr. Small?
I would just like to say, and I'd like to thank the city attorney, Mr. Ricardo Woods, for responding. But I'd like to say to the citizens and to the people that also addressed us this morning is that we asked a question and we put it out there, and you see our response. You all can come down here every week. I promise you, you can listen. We'll listen to you all. You can call me, you can come by my place, whatever, we can listen. But again, as the city attorney stated, that we legislate, they administrate. And again, we will listen to you, but everything's got to flow through the administration office. Thank you.
I have to, I agree with Councilman Small. You certainly have the ability to come here every council meeting and talk with us about these allegations and talk with us about the need for some redress as it relates to your compensation. But at the end of the day, the mover on that is going to be Mayor Stimson. And I'm not trying to pass the buck. At the end of the day, the buck stops with him. And we've said yesterday, we said last week, and we're saying again, that if an item is put before this council that does what it is that you all have been requesting, I will be the very first one to support it. We don't have the ability to initiate revenue items. That's not a legislative function. Revenue items initiate and are started by the administration. And the budget time is coming up, and if in the budget, Ms. Stimson has put in the appropriate resources to pay for the raises that you all are asking for, you've got my vote. I committed last week, I've committed today. I've heard from many members of the public service workers organization. Many of them live in my district. I have members of them that attend my church, I'm friends with. So it's not an issue of whether or not we want to do it. It's an issue of it coming before us so that we can act on it. And I would just ask Mayor Stimson, it appears that they've been asking for an audience for a while, and I'm hopeful that through your staff that you all can find some time to talk directly with Mr. Young and members of this organization so that hopefully they can learn what you all may be able to do or are not in a position to do, and we can move forward progressively. But we're kind of in a middle holding ground where we're listening to you, but don't have the abilities to really answer directly the questions that you're asking. Any further comments?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Richardson?
I think this is the time also to sort of relieve some of your fears. It's the council's responsibility to approve all contracts, especially pertaining to money. Mayor Stimson can't secretly privatize the garbage workers. He can't do that. In order to privatize the garbage pickup and the trash pickup, he would have to bring that contract to the city council. And I just want to let you know, if Moses stood at that podium with the rod in his hand, I'm voting no. I just want y'all to know that. I'm voting no.
Mr. Vice President?
If I may,
Mr. Williams,
I have been asked to speak to the Buffalo Soldiers Memorial gathering today at noon, and I'd ask if you allow me to be dismissed at this time. Thank you.
Mrs. Gregory?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I too want to thank everyone who has come today to speak to us. We're happy to hear you. Of course, we listened last week as well. And you've heard from some of my colleagues exactly where the buck stops. I thank Reverend McFarland for coming and speaking. What you said is absolutely true. As far as privatization goes, you're right. We've done studies over the years to try to figure out if it would be more efficient and cheaper for the city to privatize or not. Initially, yes. In the long run, no. Those are the studies that we have seen. I don't think we've done one recently. But what I said last week is something that I really would hope that Wesley and some of the other leaders of the department would take to heart, and that is to work with the administration to find efficiencies in your department so that we can use those efficiencies that saved money to go toward your raises. That's what the fire department did and what the police department did. I know that you all know more about what's going on and what works and doesn't work than we do, and probably the mayor and his staff. So there may be ways that you can find some extra dollars that would help fund the raises. You may be running on as tight a budget as you can possibly do right now, and there may not be any extra areas to tighten the belt. I understand you've got some attrition, and that's causing some problems in doing the job that you were supposed to be doing, and I think we understand that. So we, the council, would like to help you in any way we can. And Wesley, I see you up there nodding your head. So just keep at it. I know the mayor is here, and he's heard what you've said, and hopefully you will get a meeting set with him, especially as we get into the budget year and looking at what the budget is going to show, and hopefully reflect some raises for you guys. So
I would certainly love to do that.
Mr. Young, I'm trying to, I gotta follow our rules here.
Well, yeah, I was pretty much, yes, thank you. Thank you, Wesley. Appreciate you coming and all the work that you have done over all these years with the folks in Public Works. So again, just thank you. We certainly hope that this gets worked out to the advantage of all of our employees and the citizens of the city of Mobile to keep up the great services.
It appears to me what we're facing is a communication issue. It's a communication issue. We've got leadership of this organization that wants to talk with the leadership of this city. And you all are coming here because this is the venue that you have. And this is the conduit by which you can get your message out. And I appreciate that. If I were in your position, I would do the same thing. I'm just again asking the administration, specifically Mayor Stimson, if he could work with his staff members to coordinate some time where the two entities can meet, because at the end of the day, you know what you want. They're in a position to tell you what they're able to do, and hope it would be much better if you all were talking directly as opposed to what's happening here. And you're welcome to come here each week. I'm not knocking that. But I'm also suggesting that it would just, if we could cut the middleman out and you all talk directly with the administration, put all our cards on the table, and let's move forward. And I'm hopeful that meeting, a time where you all can get together, will be made a priority.
I would like.
Mrs. Rich and then Mr. Richardson.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I find this very interesting information. Did you compile mobiles? Who presented this to us? And
Mike.
I did it late yesterday.
Okay.
I did get mobiles because I'm pretty sure that.
Well, that would be good information. And do you know if it puts in the benefits that each of these groups would receive and the value of that benefit?
Mr. Beach, will you come back? We have.
Because if you're going to compare apples to apples, you really need to have all the information.
No, ma'am, I'm not sure what the benefits they have. I know when I started at the city of Mobile that I was told that I was going to get a cost of living raise and across the board raise, and I should be topped out within 10 years. I'm going on 26 years and haven't received the top. Benefits used to be great. They slowly starting to dissolve and be cut. From what I understand, some of the new hirees will not be afforded to take insurance with them when they leave.
Okay, and I appreciate that information, but this is the type of information which is valuable when you're comparing apples to apples. So that would be something that you might want to do some more research or check with this salary expert. And I don't know if you paid a fee to get into this website or what it involved.
Right.
But again, that's sometimes good information, sometimes not so good.
Right, that should be starting.
And I hear what you're saying about not making what you were told and all that stuff, because we had a lot of bad years. It's gotten a lot better recently. So, okay, thank you.
Just quickly.
Mr. Young, Councilman Richardson has a question.
Hold on just a second. Just one second.
Go ahead.
Mr. Beach, have you as an individual or in a group been called into a meeting and discussed the budget for the Public Service Department?
Not under this administration.
And so, in order for you to have cut the budget, you don't know what the budget is, do you?
No, sir. We don't know what the budget is.
Okay. Have you been asked, or you or a group been asked to try and figure out ways to cut the budget?
Sir, we've tried to meet with administration, and we haven't had a return answer.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to be out of order, but I just want to answer a question that you just asked. Have we been able to go into our budget and find out what our salaries are? I can tell you right now what they are. They're embedded in my head through Jesus Christ. They are $12, $13. Some make $14. He makes more money than most of them because he's been there over 25 years. So we cannot compare apples to apples based on that scenario.
Starting salary.
One more scenario is this, and I'm going to touch on this when I come before the council next week. There are ways that this council can deal with the budget process as it relates to the Zogby Act. It only takes 4 of you all to amend the budget. If it's overwritten, it takes 5 of you all to approve the budget. I don't want to hear that you can't do it. It was done with the 1-cent sales tax. It can be done with the employee raises. Thank you and have a good day.
Now, I just want to address that notion, and Mr. Young, I want to again state my support, my continued support, because the 4.5 years that I've been here, any item relative to any employee dealing with increased compensation, I've supported. So that's a track record that can be vetted. Any item that's been presented before this council relative to increasing compensation for any employee, I don't know of one member of this body, one member who uttered one iota of opposition in increasing the pay. We realize that we have 2,400, 2,500 hard-working city employees that make this city run day in and day out. I realize it principally because I have probably one of the busiest districts, and I see what these workers do during Mardi Gras, see what they do with these special events and things of that nature. So I don't want it to appear that what you're saying and what you're requesting is falling on deaf ears, but the notion that once we get the budget, we have the ability to go in and extricate in and of ourselves and increase line item salaries, that isn't something we're able to do. That isn't something we're able to do. And I don't want anyone leaving here, be they citizen or employee, with that impression. We're not able to get the budget after the administration has formulated the budget and say, well, we want to take $2 or $3 or $4 million from here, and we're going to increase this individual class of worker by this much, and this individual class of worker by that much. That isn't a function that the Zogby Act or no other act allows us to do. Now, what we're saying to you is that after you've had your meeting with Mayor Stimpson, I've asked 3 times that the mayor avail himself to you and any other member of your organization, permanent member of the organization, so that a discussion can be had about how do you all move forward progressively. And if after that discussion an item is put before this council that increases pay, just as we've done with every other employee every other time, we are in support. But the answers as to the nuances of the budget relative to increasing pay, those are answers that don't start from this dais, that don't start from the 9th floor. They start with the administration, and the administration has admitted that. Mr. Woods just articulated that, and I think we've said very openly and honestly in front of the mayor that if that's their intention and if they put it before us, we will support it. But I don't want anyone leaving here thinking that we have 7 magic wands that we can wave over the municipal budget and just arbitrarily increase any class of worker salaries. That isn't the function that we have. And I don't want anyone leaving with that impression. We've asked, our lawyers vetted it, our previous lawyers vetted it. That's not a power that we enjoy. It's a separation of powers, and that's a power that is initiated in the administration, and that's why I'm hopeful you all will be able to talk, to come to a happy meeting. And again, you all are welcome to come here every week. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen intently and be an advocate, because I'm for fairness. I'm for anybody getting a raise. I'm for me getting a raise. I'm not against anybody getting a raise. If the money is there, let's give the raise. So I think that's the sentiment that you've heard now 2 weeks from this body. Hopefully you all can get together with the administration so we can move forward and hopefully do whatever is necessary and whatever is fiduciary, is in the budget for us to do to compensate our public service safety workers, service workers.
Mr. Vice President. Good.
Yeah, Vice President Manzi, I want to reemphasize again to the workers that we did not campaign back 5 years ago stating that we're going to take any doors down. You heard from several council members that you all are always welcome to come to council and talk to us and communicate. We didn't, and our doors are never shut. We never campaigned that we're going to take them down. But someone campaigned who's the CEO and president of Mobile and said that his doors is always open. So when you leave here, I ask you all to just go up there and with his campaign promise and knock on his door and ask the questions. I asked the mayor sitting here in front of you all today to answer the questions that you all ask. I can't make him talk. We can't make him talk, okay? We're not trying to ignore you all. And you talk about the budget. Let me refresh your memory. Back in 2013, this council had passed the budget for you all, the city workers, to get a raise. The mayor didn't sign it. You all didn't get a raise, and we passed it as a council. So therefore, if we passed it, he still got to sign it. So again, don't put it all on us. It's not. And I'm with Manzi. Whoever comes before us or had came before us to support the employees of the city of Mobile, not just policemen or firemen, not just public, the city employees, we supported it. And we're telling you again, we're here to support you all, but it's only so much we can do. There's only so much to do. And again, our doors are open. We didn't campaign, we taking no doors down. We ain't took no doors down. But you always are welcome to come to us and talk to us. And again, just re-emphasizing that again, it starts with him, and again, he has to sign it. Thank you.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes, I would just like to clear up the matter pertaining to the budget. The 1 cent that was mentioned was brought before us by former Mayor Sam Jones. 2008, the whole nation, the economy went under nationwide. And not to lay off public safety, public service workers, Mayor Jones asked us to vote in an additional 1 cent. What you saw the council do is when the 1 cent, when there was a sunset of the 1 cent, that it would not be anymore, the council voted to keep the 1 cent because our districts looked like a war zone and we didn't have any capital fund to spend in our districts, and we voted to keep the penny. We didn't put the penny on the table. The penny came up because it was time for it to either sunset or extend it. The council voted to extend the penny, and the council defined what it was going to do with the penny. It was going to use that penny to address capital projects in our neighborhood. But we didn't put the penny on the table. The penny was put on the table by our previous mayor.
Any further discussion? Madam City Clerk?
Reggie Hill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Mayor Stimson, citizens and stakeholders of Mobile, good morning.
Good morning.
Reggie Hill, 1007 Center Street. I rise today to speak about the Nonprofit Empowerment Commission. And before I do so, I would like to again extend the invitation to our Youth Empowerment Rally that will be taking place this Saturday from 12 to 1:30 p.m. at the Seals Recreation Center, formerly known as Section Street Rec, in the heart of District 2. We have various state leaders that will be participating, as well as young people who will be providing solutions for youth violence, academic readiness, and political activism. Now in regards to the Nonprofit Empowerment Commission, there are hundreds or maybe even thousands of people in the city of Mobile that have great ideas to improve the quality of life for all citizens, one project at a time. I, along with many others, believe it to be imperative for our city to develop and maintain a commission devoted solely towards the growth and preservation of our city. Over the years, we have forgotten the power of a unified city and the power of the city seal. With support and authorization from the city for such a commission, this new body would then qualify to obtain varying resources for projects created directly for the unique needs of specific communities. Of course, there is an existing entity that is comprised of more familiar nonprofit organizations and corporations in the city, and I serve on the Youth Advisory Council for one of its members. But while the entity focuses on the general implementation of their own objectives, yielding results for their own agenda, it is proper is it proper or profitable for us to neglect the opportunities that become achievable with a body such as the Nonprofit Empowerment Commission? Times before, our city has spent millions of dollars on projects that have left an overwhelming or unwarranted debt on taxpayers. Knowing this, I don't believe that there should be any question to implement a free endeavor that has potential to elevate the port city to its deserved prominence and be the portal of innovation that it has always been since the inception of our state. We are the risk takers. We are the creators of Alabama, and this is our chance to do that. I'm going to provide the city clerk with the mock resolution that I'm going to read that could be put in place. Also provide a copy for the city attorney and the mayor. And it basically states this: the purpose would be to foster a culture of service in Mobile, Alabama that uses cohesive collaboration to cultivate a practice of progress, development, sustainability, and worthwhile opportunities through the nonprofit sector for all communities, especially those most underserved, through creation and distribution of varying resources. The duties and functions will be as follows: create and conduct surveys and reports that identify the specific needs of communities regarding social services and equal opportunities for all citizens. As I said before, there is an existing entity of nonprofits being placed together, but so often they miss the specific needs because people are unaware of services and unable to communicate with the leaders. Solicit for innovative ideas and proposals to target a particular population often overlooked by more prominent nonprofit agencies. Apply for and receive grants, stakeholder investments, and in-kind services as a city-supported entity to carry out the purpose and expectations of the commission. What that means is if we have a body that has the seal of the city being represented when you solicit for partnerships, when you solicit for opportunities, that has a greater persuasion than just a collective group of people. If we're seeing that the city is behind this, I believe that they'll be more apt to participate in the process. They will hold regular monthly meetings to address community suggestions for worthwhile projects to uplift areas of the cities with unique complications or concerns. Cooperate fully with existing entities, both local and national, public and private, that support the purpose of the commission and efforts to better address areas of distress in our city not commonly recognized by agencies with similar functions to the commission. Recommend applications to the city council and mayor to receive performance contracts based on specifically targeted results yielded by prior project implementation. And the final duty and function would be submit an annual and quarterly report of the commission's activities, impact, and progress to the city council and mayor. The members would consist of both an advisory board as well as the actual nonprofit empowerment commission. The advisory board I would hope to consist of someone from Parks and Recreation Department, a member from Visit Mobile, a member from Mobile United, and 2 members of the faith-based community. And they would be selected and approved by the NEC, but they wouldn't vote on commission matters. The NEC would, of course, consist of 8 members selected by the city council and the mayor, and would be approved by the city council. They will nominate and elect a chairman and secretary, and the chairman would be the tiebreaker. This is the last part on the last 2 lines. Yes, sir. And the length of terms would just be the 4 years and could be reappointed, and the meetings will be conducted on the 3rd Tuesday. I thank you for entertaining this. Again, I provided the mock resolution on what I think could be possible, and I'd love to speak with you regarding the matter. Continue on. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Hill,
yes,
I have, I met with you Thursday at length about this. I had an opportunity to talk with my colleagues on the council. This is the 2nd week that you come with the idea, and while we appreciate the idea at this time, this isn't an idea that we want to move forward with. There's already a functioning South Alabama Coalition of Nonprofits. Its executive director is Mr. Mark Birdie. He and I graduated from Leadership Mobile in 2006. I've been in contact with him. He's eager to hear your ideas on how that functioning entity could incorporate some of the things that you've referenced here in your presentation. Thereby, we would not have duplication. And so, while we appreciate the energy and appreciate the idea, I'm going to make certain that you get Mark Birdie's contact information, his address, and he's ready to meet with you to hopefully incorporate your ideas into what's already freestanding, what's already working, and hopefully it'll help the nonprofit community in totality here in Mobile.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out to him, and I look forward to speaking with him as well.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vice
Richardson.
President, I would also like to add, Mr. Here, we had a series of nonprofit organizations, excuse me, under the past administration. And there were a number of complaints about that. And a survey was made, and it was concluded that those nonprofits were counterproductive to the city. And we got rid of every one of them. We don't have not one. What you're talking about, we had all of those. It was concluded that those are organizations that the community ought to organize. All they need is a 501c3, any community group to start their own nonprofit, and we have already polled this council. So there's no need to sign up for this anymore. There is not support on this council to create a nonprofit, a commission, or however you want to call it. It's no support on this council to create such an organization. That organization should evolve from inside of the community, and there is no support on this council to create such an organization.
Well, thank you for the consideration.
Okay.
Can I just add a
Mrs.
little bit of a correction, unless I'm mistaken? I believe we do performance contracts with some nonprofits.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's.
I mean, we haven't completely gotten rid of, but that doesn't answer your commentary, but
Not ours.
it just.
He wanted us to create one.
No, he wanted us to create a commission, is my understanding, not necessarily a nonprofit, made up of nonprofits.
Right.
But I thought I heard that we do not have contracts with nonprofits, but we do.
I said, no, we don't create nonprofits.
No, he wasn't asking us to create a nonprofit.
Well, at either point, ladies and gentlemen, at where we are now, is that what you're requesting is not something we're going to move forward with.
If it already exists in the community.
And we appreciate your interest. And if you have other ideas, you know, as your council person, I've always availed myself. We meet regularly, we talk regularly, and I look forward to hearing more ideas you might have.
Absolutely. Thank you all again for the consideration.
Wayne Gardner, regarding the ABC license.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have had the pleasure, this is my son Greg Gardner, we're trying to start a business in downtown Mobile. Our daughter already
May I get your name and address, please?
Wayne Gardner, 1009 Pace Parkway, Mobile. I'm not the radio personality, I'm the other Wayne Gardner. We're trying to start a business in downtown Mobile. We're excited about where Mobile is headed. We think it's just, everything is great. Our daughter's buying a loft in downtown Mobile. She owns a business. Our son, we're trying to start a business. But we've been very frustrated with the lack of progress. It's amazing what it takes to start a business, especially if there's the sale of alcohol involved. And we've been through the ABC board, and it's been, everything has gone fine. We came to the city to get started in that part of the process, and we thought everything was going fine until, a week ago we get a call that the place we're trying to start our business is not zoned properly for a bar. And we were misled by the owner of the building, who said it was fine. We signed a lease with the owner of the building. He said it was fine. We've spent money to get the business started, and now we've been told that it's not fine, and we cannot operate a bar in that particular building because it is not zoned properly. The people we've worked with at the city have been very, very nice, very efficient, especially Miss Bonham and Miss Tate. But there seems to be a lack of coordination between departments. If we had been told 4 weeks ago when we first started the process that this building could not have a bar, that would have, we wouldn't have been happy, but we would have not spent a lot of the money and the time that we've spent. So I guess my frustration is the lack of coordination between departments in the city, which should have told us immediately that you can't have a bar in this building. It's zoned LB2. We didn't know anything about the zoning. We're not experts in that part of the business world. So now we are. You know, it would not ever happen again, but as it sits right now, you know, we're trying to get a liquor license approved for a business that can't be built. So that's where we stand.
Mr. Gardner, I'm going to turn it over to the administration because, again, this is another administrative matter. Mr. Woods? And if there's staff persons that would like to offer any commentary, Ms. Biko or Mr. Hoffman, you're certainly interested in hearing.
Sure. Good afternoon. Mr. Gardner is exactly correct. He came to our office on April the 12th. The process requires that he go before the Revenue Department to make the request for the liquor license, and then he in turn comes to our zoning counter to ensure that he is compliant with all of the rules and regulations specific to zoning. Ms. Tate, as he mentioned, helped him at the planning and zoning counter that day. There's some basic information that he has requested of him and that he provided. The oversight or the mistake that was made was that she said that his site was in fact compliant when it was not. The LB2 zoning designation does not make allowances for a bar. If the operation has a restaurant component to it, or if there's the provision of food, that's a second track. But if he is specifically, the primary function of the facility is to operate as a bar, it requires a B2 zoning designation, and there is a public hearing process that is associated with that. So that is not a solution to the problem. It was a complete oversight on the Planning and Zoning Department at the staff level, and we certainly apologize that that miss took place. We did contact him. Mr. Hoffman did contact Mr. Gardner, I understand, in and around the date of April the 25th to explain that the mistake was made. At this point, our hands are a little tied. That B2 designation does open up a number of uses within that district, and so we are bound and required by our rules that either a rezone would have to be requested or a waiver of the zoning ordinance. Those are the two options that would that are before him. To circumvent that process would not allow adjoining property owners the opportunity to seek information as it relates to the operation of a bar in that district.
Vice President.
Mr. Small?
You said that if they sell food, that it would be okay, correct?
Yes, a restaurant is allowed in a LB2 operation.
Do you have a definition for a restaurant?
I'll have to ask that Mr. Hoffman speak to that. Excuse me.
I don't think that there's anything in the zoning ordinance that defines the percentage of how much would have to be operated as a restaurant versus a bar, but there would have to be a greater percentage of revenue based on the restaurant aspect of the business versus the sale of alcohol.
All right, thank you.
I think it's an ABC rule, if I'm not mistaken, on what type of licensure you apply for, based on what you're going to do with
I think that's correct, and to be a restaurant, you have to have a full kitchen, you have to have exhaust hoods, you have to have grease traps. This is a 1,700 square foot space. It's not designed to be a full restaurant / bar. You know, we would have never entered into the discussions under that assumption. So. But in that LB2, it can be a restaurant / bar, but you can't do one of those in a 1,700 square foot space.
And Mr. Richardson?
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and the other option is rezoning. But that option is quite a controversial option. I can remember when this particular shopping center was built, and I believe the reason it has this unique zoning is due to the input from the community. And so that really wouldn't be an option. That wouldn't be something that I would support because this is in District 2. It is a quandary that you find yourselves in, and I hope that a solution can be found. Mr. Richardson?
I was going to ask our attorney, do you have any suggestions?
When did you sign your lease?
Can you get into your microphone?
Yeah,
When did you sign your lease?
I'm not sure the exact date. It was almost 2 months ago, so yeah, it would have been middle of March.
And when you signed the lease, the owner told you you could have a bar there?
That's correct. I mean, it says clearly in the lease that it's for a bar with, I think it says minimal food being served. So yeah, he knew it was going to be a bar. In fact,
is the owner taking the position that you can't get out of the lease?
No, no, we can get out of the lease. We've just spent a lot of time.
Well, that might be your only answer at this point. You're not trying to tell you how to conduct business, but that might be your out, you know?
Might be what?
You're out. You're out of this whole situation because...
No, we can get out.
Right.
We can get out.
Yes, sir. Anything else, Ms. Cochran? Anything else, Mr. Gardner?
I'll say real quick. I'm son, Greg Gardner,
Yes, sir.
361 Regina Avenue. Thanks for your work in our district.
I appreciate
You and I
it.
have communicated back and forth.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can get out. I think we're frustrated that we would have liked to have already been open at this point, you know? So we're frustrated that we've already submitted paid to have the drawings submitted for the design. You know, that's the sticking point for us now. We've already put out a fairly substantial amount of money for things like that if we want to get that back, you know, we may have to take legal action on that. But thank you all for the support and the help that you've given us already. Like Dad said, you know, y'all have been great. You know, it's great to see the city get behind a local business owner and try to help us as much as you can. So, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Vice President, if I could make a comment.
Mr.
So, a very unfortunate situation, and I too joined the staff and apologize that it got to this point. I don't know what exactly is the best way, the best path forward, but we won't linger. We will do everything we can to help you reach a speedy resolution, to find out, you know, what all your options are so that it can come to closure. And so whether it's visiting with Councilor Ricardo Woods and Shayla Biko, we'll be sure that we, you know, stay right on this until you get resolution.
Thank you. And I know you are a former patron of Willie's back in the day in Bruton. So you're familiar
That's
with
right.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day. I can't remember those days hardly.
Back in the day. Yeah, Willie's place was an old bar restaurant in Bruton, Alabama. So if you've ever been to Bruton, you've been to Willie's. So.
I'm from Evergreen.
You've probably been to Willie's. Yes, sir.
No.
Well, I couldn't go, but I know where it is.
You know it, yes, sir.
I have just a quick question. Does someone come in first to zoning to ask whether it is zoned appropriately before they do any of their, because maybe that should be the first step?
It really depends that when they're going through the liquor license application process, they generally start with the revenue department.
Mm-hmm.
The revenue department can at times, of course, suggest that they talk to zoning first, but it's really, the process is not clearly defined, so it ends up being the individual's own due diligence are a good step to take first.
Right. Thank you.
Timothy Hollis regarding Resolution 21320, which is the contract with Iker Construction Corporation for the basketball court in Figures Park.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Timothy Hollis, 1924 Seal Street, Mobile, Alabama. Mr. Richardson is my council person.
All right.
I come to speak on behalf of this resolution. Glad that I see it on the agenda. As you all know, I'm very active in that neighborhood. And on Sundays, we play basketball. And we have a lot of elders that still like to come out there and toss the hoops around. And with this court coming, it's having reinforced ground. It's made from retired basketball and Nike shoe bottom. So it's one of a kind and not like any other. And I'm glad to see that our mayor and council person are working hard to make sure that that area gets an upgrade and a makeover and prevent it from looking like a war zone. As you all know, I can come down and make a lot of complaints, but today I'm coming to say thank you, and that I would hope that you would move expeditiously towards getting this done as soon as possible before the summer's out, because the kids will enjoy this, the entire community will enjoy this. They've been talking about it, they've been asking questions, and they know that I serve on 2 different park boards in the city, one under the administrations committee and one for Councilman Richardson with the advisory council. And I get all the questions, sometimes before you guys get them now, because they know me personally. And they're ready, and I am too. And I know that the city is ready to put it off. Tomanville is a very prestigious community for basketball. We host the former Tomanville LaFleur High School, Tomanville High School, and we have the LaFleur High School, which are both known for their dominating performance in basketball throughout all time. And we hold 2 national championships from Duke University, from Antonio Lane, and we also have an Olympic gold medal out of that very same park. So I'm glad to see this happening, and I hope that we can get it started very fast. Thank you.
All right.
Ordinance is held over 50-002, amendment to Chapter 50 Mobile City Code, Public Improvements, to add a new Article 4 entitled Mobile Tourism Improvement District, relating to the creation of a self-help business improvement district to provide supplemental services within the district.
Motion to table.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item is tabled.
64009, rezone property at 921 Dolphin Street and 926 Conti Street from R1 and B1 to LB2 to eliminate split zoning.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Consent resolutions held over 37249, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a retail beer table wine off-premises only license for Riverside Market on Riverside Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in
Yes,
favor?
yes it is. Yes,
Pardon me, Mr. Small.
Yeah, thank you, Vice President Manzi. I had got several calls about this approval for the ABC Board license for this Riverside Market. Know that there has been a lot of loitering outside of the business. Checked with the City Council attorney, and she has not found no evidence where no police report has been written up about this particular business. I just want to urge citizens, even across Mobile, that if you see loitering, drinking outside of a business, please report it. One resident had compared this particular license to another business that the council had denied. The other business had a report, long jeopardy report of, policemen called to this particular business. But this particular business have not one report, so therefore we could not really deny this application for the approval for ABC Board. But again, if you see customers outside of a business drinking, please call the cops so that can be a record, because if you don't, we would not have no record. So again, that's the reason that we're approving this license today, because again, this particular business does not have any type of record. Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
37291, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for the Ruby Slipper Cafe on North Royal Street.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion and second. Is there any discussion? We want to welcome the Ruby Slipper to, if you could briefly just give us some.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Now,
we're just, we're very excited to be. I'm sorry, Matthew Kubilski Jr.
Yes,
represent Ruby Slipper Cafe of 315 South Broad Street in New Orleans. We're very excited to come to Mobile and be part of the community. This will be location number 10 for us. If I could digress just a short period, Eric and Jennifer Weissop kind of returned to New Orleans in 2008 after their Katrina-inspired vacation. And when they come back, they're great people, and what they did is they rebuilt their house, rebuilt other homes in their community, helped their neighbors, and the neighbors wish they had a restaurant because the commercial hadn't come back yet. So they elected to open up a restaurant themselves so the neighborhood would have a place to come, and it's just really evolved into a great place in the community. They like to, even our brand new corporate headquarters is a reclaimed building in a blighted neighborhood. They like to really help the community and research the community. And it's just been a great success, and we're very excited to be part of the community. And we can't wait for our approval. With any luck, things will go well, and you'll see us before the holiday.
Yes, sir.
Sounds great.
Well, welcome to District 2. Glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item passes.
CIP resolutions held over. 21311, authorized contract with Burt Klein Peter for 2018 CIP citywide miscellaneous drainage repairs.
Move to lay over until May 22nd.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item passed. Item is laid over.
21312, authorized contract with Micro Inc. doing business as MDS Construction for Denton Park, walking trail and lighting.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item passes.
Resolutions held over. 01072 and 09073, authorized project agreement with Gulf Hauling Construction for receiving, processing, and disposal of residential trash and reallocating monies from general fund to trash department hauling to pay monthly invoices to waste management per settlement.
Move to table.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item is tabled.
Ordinances being introduced for the first time, 52010 through 88011.
By council rules, it's just there over for 1 week.
We were.
But, okay, I'm about to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 52010. It's both of them right, 88? No, and 88011 would lay over for 1 week.
No.
You're going to do both of them?
Well, we do want to suspend the rules on 010, so we can vote to lay it over for 2
That's
weeks.
that entertainment ordinance.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to just table it, I thought, because it didn't have a date certain.
Right.
No, we said we're going to do it for 2 weeks.
This is the vehicle.
This is the vehicle.
Oh, the vehicle one, yes. Okay, excuse me. We were going to vote on that.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry.
52010, amend Chapter 52 of the Mobile City Code for the abatement and removal of inoperable motor vehicles as public nuisances.
Move to lay over for 2 weeks.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mrs. Rich?
This was assigned to committee, which I was going to wait to announce, but as long as it's an issue, I will deal with it now to announce that the committee will meet next week, which is the 15th, and we'll meet at 2 o'clock. This will be the Public Safety Committee, and we will discuss the junk car ordinance, which absolutely we would like to state that we appreciate everything the administration has done to date, and also we'd like to thank Representative Clark, Adeline Clark, for her hard work in bringing this forward, and for all the people in the State House that supported it on behalf of our city. And again, it gives council an opportunity next week to learn more about the ordinance, how we are part of that ordinance, and how we can explain it to our residents, and also that there is an appeal process that comes before council, which we should be very much aware on how that will work. and what we can expect as council members. But I don't want anyone to get the impression, because I didn't get this impression from my colleagues, that this is something that we don't embrace, because we do. And it's a problem citywide, and we'd love to see it have a resolve, and this is a great step in that direction.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item is tabled for 2 weeks, laid over for 2 weeks.
Consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 31314 through 37318.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration for resolution 34314 through 37318.
Second.
Probably motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There's no objection, I'll take them together.
Yes, ma'am.
31314, authorize the mayor to apply, accept, and receive funding from the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency EOD grant 37315. Recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a nonprofit tax-exempt license for 2018 Pork and Politics at Battleship Parkway. 37316. Recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor class 2 package store license for Say Package Store on Airport Boulevard. 37317. Recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor class 1 license for Willie's Place on Government Street. 37318. Recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a retail beer, table wine on off-premises license for wine and canvas on Hillcrest Road.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Items passed.
Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 09319 through 47323.
Said resolution was leveled for 1 week by council rules.
Call for public hearings, 41324, call for public hearing to rezone property at 1011 and 1037 Hillcrest Road and 6353 Chandler Street, southeast corner of Hillcrest Road and Chandler Street, extending to the north side of Johnston Lane, 240 feet east of Hillcrest Road, from R1 and B1 to B2 and B2 to B1 to eliminate split zoning in a proposed subdivision scheduled June 5th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is called.
Do I need to go back to that liquor license? Okay. Mr. Vice President, we need to go back. I called out 37317, the liquor license for Willie's Place, and we should have tabled that one, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a motion?
Yes.
Or denied.
Is there a motion to deny?
We need to.
Well,
Move to reconsider.
Yes. Is there a
second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. All right.
Now.
Yes,
Now.
ma'am.
Go back.
Go here.
Now, go back and do a motion
Right.
to.
Right.
Yes,
Wait
now
on
we'll
the
start fresh.
Move to deny.
Second.
The motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item is denied.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Announcements.
Mr. Small?
Yes, Vice President Manzi, thank you. I'd like to remind the citizens that we know it's springtime and it's raining and also grass is growing. I don't mind you calling me, but I still will have to go through 311 myself. Asking every citizen, especially in District 3, if you see any overgrown properties that is blighted in your community, your neighborhood, or anywhere, please report it to 311. Again, it's a process. I wish you could call me and tell me about an overgrown property and I can send somebody out there to you and get it cut, but I cannot do that. But again, if there is any type of overgrown property or blighted property, please report it to 311. And just remember that that's the process that you have to take, and again, the process that I have to take also. And again, I had asked the administration earlier, I'm asking again, if it's possible, if the mayor can fit in his schedule to be at our public safety meeting on this afternoon. Thank you, Vice President Manzi.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes, probably as brief as possible. I'd like to let the citizens of Moffett Road know that we will be holding a community meeting for you at the Forest Hill Elementary School on Thursday, May 17th. I would just like to say that the highlights of this meeting is going to be about jobs. If you need a job, you need to be there. I got all kind of presenters coming that's going to be talking about the need for jobs, including we're going to have the Walmart Distribution Center group there from the Walmart Distribution Center. They've hired lots of people that need other workers. So make sure you come out to this meeting. And on Saturday, the fire department is going to have a fire exposition at the Dodge Community Center in Trinity Garden starting at 9 a.m. This exposition is going to be to educate citizens and to expose them to all aspects of the fire department, including recruitment. So it's open to everybody, but especially the citizens in Trinity Gardens. And then Saturday at 11 o'clock, we're going to kick off the Creek Fest at the Tricentennial Park. We're going to open the kayak and the canoe launch there. Will be an effort to clean up 3 Mile Creek, and we're going to focus on the highlights of the Greenway. It's the 5th annual Creek Fest, and we're looking for several thousand people to be there. Make sure you be there. Looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I would just like to commend the council today on approving the expenditure of some money to upgrade Denton Park. Denton Park is a rather smallish park located in District 5, although it's across Imogene Street from District 1, and I've heard from a number of Councilman Richardson's constituents asking me to expend money in that park, and I'm glad we're able to do it. This will provide needed lighting for the park, which there has been some untoward activity reported to me in that park, and it will provide new and upgraded lighting and also a walking trail for the residents of the Woodlawn area, and I'm delighted that we're able to do this after a lot of work and time putting it together. Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you. I'd just like to remind everyone there's a Public Safety Committee meeting at 1:30 this afternoon to talk about statistics for crime, and we're looking at having our police chief, Batiste, is invited, and also public safety director to discuss with the council any questions the council members might have, the committee and council members. Again, this will start at 1:30 in the 9th floor conference room. Thank you.
Mrs. Gregory?
Thank you, Mr. President. And before we leave, it looks like Mr. Woods has some breaking news. You want to go ahead and...
So I just wanted to let the council, a lot was asked about whether or not there'd been an inquiry for a meeting from Public Works Division or Mr. Young. And let me clarify 2 things. First, Mr. Young is not an employee, so we don't deal in that manner. But there have been no request forms or any official request or unofficial request made to meet directly to the mayor's office. We're not aware of any, and that's one of the things I went to go verify. So there have been no request to meet with the mayor's office in dealing with this public works issue, and there's a standard form that gets filled out by everybody who wants to get on his calendar. That form does not exist in the way of public works, and there's been no direct outreach to me or to the mayor. Just wanted to let the council know that, just so you know that what you've seen for the last 2 weeks has been in a public setting, but that's what you've seen is all we've seen as well.
Thank you.
So are you announcing that the mayor is willing to meet?
With Mr. Young, no sir, because he is not an employee. What I'm saying is I'm willing to talk to them about what they want to do, and we can see what we go for through the proper channels. What I'm saying is there has been no request in the official capacity or in unofficial capacity to meet with the mayor or his representative to talk about these issues. What you've seen is coming before the council.
Would you say that 90% of the people that the mayor meets with are not city employees?
Would you say again?
More than 90% of the people that the mayor meets with on a weekly basis are not city employees. You're stating that you can't meet with Mr. Young because he's not a city employee.
No.
Most of the people the mayor meets with are not city employees.
No. So that's not what I stated.
Okay.
I just want to be clear. So you're probably right. The majority of the people that the mayor meets with are not city employees on a regular basis. What I'm saying is, on a personnel issue, and there's a specific reason for this, on a personnel issue, we're not going to meet with a non-employee about personnel issues. We will follow the proper chain of command with the employees and be willing to talk to them. And if you want, I can talk to you and Ms. Cochran separately about that.
They can't bring their representative with them?
Yes, they can. They can bring their representative. Let me finish. They can bring a representative with them, but that person cannot be a member of an organization who's not an employee when we're dealing with them. And there's a specific reason for that.
All right.
Mr. Woods, let me ask, as a citizen, can my neighbor, Miss Betty Bogan, she receives the services from the public service workers, and she's interested in seeing them get a raise. Can Ms. Bogan, who's not an employee but a citizen of the city, request a meeting with the mayor to talk about the raises, the possibility of raises for public service workers?
Sure, she can. She can talk about the services with respect to what she's receiving. But when it comes to a personnel matter of them getting a raise or asking for a raise, she cannot negotiate on their behalf. That's the difference. So talking about it is one thing, but doing something about it is something totally different.
So you're setting the policy of the mayor, certainly not in his our behalf. So the mayor has established his own policy because it's not law.
No, and it is law. I'm sorry, Mr. Richardson, but this is why. So municipalities don't collectively bargain with unions. That is the reason. So I didn't want to say that, but you've put words in my mouth, and what I'm saying is it's not part of the ZIBE Act, but it is part of the collective law. So in Alabama, we don't collectively bargain with unions. Mr. Young is the president of a union, and he's not an employee. If he was an employee, we'd be more than happy to talk to him. Because he's a non-employee and he's the president of the union, we're not dealing with collective bargaining with him. So that's just what I want to tell you that.
Okay. Mr. Daves?
I think we're getting tied up in the weeds. I think the simple process, which has been outlined by Mr. Woods, is for employee, the employees have the right, and Mr. Woods says they'd be willing to meet with a group of employees. The employees elect or pick some employee to represent them in these meetings with the mayor, where they're trying to work out these issues that they've brought before us. But I understand. But you know, we can't just have a citizen go up there to meet with the mayor to negotiate on behalf of the employees. The employees need to meet with the mayor to negotiate on behalf of the employees.
Thank you, Mr. Daves. Any further announcements? Mr. Small, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but when you have employees are scared or they're going to be put inside a box, they're not going to go and try to talk to their supervisors. They're going to send somebody else. I mean, just like a Ku Klux Klan, he's going to hide behind a sheet. The employees are scared, so they send somebody for them. And that's what it is. And Mr. Young is a taxpayer in the city of Mobile. So I believe that he have every right to ask questions about his taxpaying money if it's going towards the employees, garbage trucks, or the mayor's salary. He has a right to ask questions.
Any further announcements, Mr. Gregory?
Well, I haven't made any yet.
Any announcements?
Okay. Yes, I would just like to thank everybody at University of South Alabama Health Systems for the terrific information they presented last week. We had everybody there from the College of Medicine, the Strata Patient Center, as well as MCI, and a lot of doctors within the community, and just talking about everything that they are doing to work together, the different statistics on the healthcare and where they rank among the other very much, so top medical centers in the country. So very impressive, and just thank them for bringing that information to us. On Saturday, we had Common Ground, which are photographs of Havana and Mobile. As most of you know, Mobile and Havana, Cuba are sister cities. We have a terrific book that you can pick up that just shows photographs of Havana and Mobile. And the festival was terrific. It was great to see former Mayor Mike Dow there, who of course was responsible for bringing us the sister city relationship. It was really great to see him and talk about Cuba and everything that has gone on recently with improving the relationship that the city of Mobile has with its sister city. This evening, I know it's short notice, but this evening, I don't know what is going on with this. The Alpine Hills, Alpine Estates, and Park Forest neighborhoods have a meeting to discuss failing schools. This is something that the Alpine Hills Community Action Group reached out to me to help them set up. They have invited Dr. Reginald Crenshaw, who is with District 3, to come and speak. The meeting will be this evening, 6:30 until 8 o'clock at St. John United Methodist Church. They have 3 topics, basically, that they will talk about. Of course, I'm sure Dr. Crenshaw will be happy to answer other questions. But the 3 topics that they sent in the mailer are what does failure mean, how will it be corrected, and what effect would a withdrawal by the city create? So if you're interested, come on out tonight. Alpine Hills Community Action Group is sponsoring this, and it again will be at the St. John United Methodist Church, 6215 Overlook Road, from 6:30 until 8 p.m. And that is it from District 7.
All right. And as I've been saying regularly, citizens of District 2, if you have any issues, concerns relative to city services, please call 311. If that isn't answering it, please reach out to me at 251-509-4239. My manager at cityofmobile.org. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You come to my church, you can come by the house. Just don't come after 9. Matter of fact, don't come by the house. That's not a good look. But my point is, I'm not running away from citizens of District 2. It's a lot of vibrancy across the length and breadth of the district. And I look forward, hopefully in the month of June, having a series of community meetings so that we can continue to plan for our continued progress. Do I hear a motion?
I would like to move that we go into executives, that we recess and go into executive session, and that we will not return.
And before you vote, the Alabama Open Meetings Act requires that an attorney make a declaration that it is appropriate for you to enter executive session to discuss threatened and pending litigation, and I'm putting that declaration on the record.
Then I'll second his motion.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Manzi sent.